What's up, everybody? It's time to go to port. Right-hand drive Ron here, leaving the stable, on our way. Stand by. So I had an idea, seeing as though I'm going to be back and forth to the port probably monthly, that we start a little session called Rides to the Port with Ron. I don't know, let's try it. So let's talk about the importing business just a bit. So, as I mentioned, I've been wanting to get into it for quite some time. The first thing I went with to test the waters, low investment, Honda Acti. I found a company online, actually, and somewhat risked it all with the language barrier and only being able to basically interface with these folks via email. It turned out to be a good experience, but it was pretty much 4 months of that I just send, a decent sum of money to Japan that I'm never going to see again. It just so happened about that time I'd already made that deal when I came across Minnie at All Things JDM with a Z, and we started to talk a lot about parts for the Acti truck. Minnie was able to give me some of the first parts in their business endeavor there to help the community on Facebook. And, I think I bought a cluster, I bought a clock from them, seat, fog lights, I don't know, several things, 4 or 5 things to start. And then they pop up with this Honda Acti attack on there. And I see how they're being very transparent, with everything that they're doing over there. They're over there doing what I like to joke about Minnie is the Lord's work. Because it seemed like a lot of this stuff they did was up front for seemingly pennies, right? I mean, they're going to Honda for us, they're getting us parts, they're charging us shipping and maybe a $5 fee. Stuff that we can't get here in the States. Or if we can buy it from over there, it's going to take 3 months to get, We're getting it in a week, so that's awesome. So I fall in love with this Honda attack that they get, this Acti attack, and dive into the water again, talk a lot with Minnie. I get the video on YouTube. I get personal pictures and videos of the truck. The full walk around. This is stuff I didn't get when I purchased my first truck from auction. It was like 6 blurry pictures, and hope it shows up in somewhat of the same condition that it was advertised, right? It was an auction grade 4, which if you're into auctions, that's one of the higher gradings, right? 5 is basically a new car, and a 4 for a 30-year-old Japanese truck is pretty solid. It's not going to be perfect. So anyway, make the deal with Minnie. Honda Acti attack, boom, it's scheduled for a ship. The day comes when it's supposed to be put on the ship. I get a call from Minnie, and hey man, your truck didn't make the ship. Okay, cool. What's up? Well, the emergency brakes are locked up. So at this point, probably 2 months have been by to get this thing scheduled for a ship and actually loaded, because in Japan and all over the world, aside from stuff being 2 to 4 weeks out to load anyway, with COVID and everything else, so much global shipping and stuff was backed up that it took 2 months to get this thing even scheduled right. So I get that call, I'm heartbroken. What's the deal? Minnie's heartbroken. He sending me pictures of his face with a real tear. And I said, it's all right, man, you know, hang in there. We're going to get through this. So I joked back. I said, you know, the truck literally doesn't want to leave Japan. I mean, it's got its feet down. You're not dragging me on this ship. I'm hanging out in Japan. I'm not going to America for this Ron guy to do something to me, right? So that passes. The boat literally, you know, sets sail. It gets scheduled a month later. It is now currently on the boat as I'm filming this. I'm about 10 days out on that little truck getting here. And I'll be making another run to Savannah to pick it up. Savannah for me, it's about 6 hours, right? So I can do it in a day, down and back. It's a very long day. When I picked up the first truck, between Atlanta traffic, between all of the shenanigans at the port, between everything else going on, it took me like 15 hours, right? It was a 15-hour day. I think I started at 0700. I got back that night, and, you know, come hell or high water, I was going to drive that little truck. So took the family for a cruise that night. Well, the family one at a time, right? Around the neighborhood in the acting truck. But yeah, so I think I'll do this. I got enough to talk about. I got enough stories to tell, that's for sure. And I've got lots of time, 6 hours down and back to Savannah, to talk to you folks about what's Ron doing, what's Ron got plans for, maybe funny crap that came up in my life. I don't know if it's worth hearing. I feel like it's worth hearing. I may have been a bit of a knucklehead in my teenage years. I feel like I've straightened out now, but I'm still a kid at heart, and still do silly things sometimes. So I don't know. Maybe it's worth hearing about. Sometimes it's the stuff that's just completely unbelievable that's the funniest stuff as an adult. You know, you get to the point to where you're just, you know, you can be just so broken down that you gotta laugh to keep from crying, right? I don't know. We'll think about it. How about that? All right, so it is 0800. We have got our Georgia port credentials at this point, and that's another credential that the Georgia ports want, at least at Savannah. I know some of the other East Coast ports, it doesn't seem as though even the TWIC card nor any special ports specific credentials are required, but for whatever reason, Savannah wants us to have them. Since I'm going to be making several trips, it was recommended I get the Georgia Savannah port specific credentials. So that is now done. Next stop's the port. So we're rolling up on the final stretch here of getting to the port. This is the ocean terminal for Savannah Port, and it should be up here on the left. And then we'll get in line to have our credentials checked, TWIC card, Georgia Port Pass. From there, we'll slide into the dispatch office. They'll do our paperwork there, make sure we've got everything we need to pick up the vehicle, and then we will be escorted out to the location of where the vehicle is. All right, we're here at port. I've checked in at the dispatch. I've got my delivery order. which means I can go pick the car up. I've talked to the port escort guy that basically checks all your paperwork and makes sure that you picked up the right vehicle. And it's time to go get our car. All right, so here we are on the port. You can see that lots of Mercedes. Simple as that, we got her. It was a far easier experience today picking up the car than it was the acting. I think hardly anybody here. All right, she's loaded up, ready to go to Tinny Henny. Had a cool little decal badge there. Yeah, we'll get this thing home, get her cleaned up, do some maintenance on her, make sure she's tip top, see if there's anybody that wants a nice Type R. All right, guys, got the Type R. It's loaded. You see it there in the corner of the screen. Disregard the headline falling here on the 07 Ridgeline. It's been a good truck, but it needs a headliner. So at this point, we will cruise out of port here. There's one final check at the gate, and they're going to take a look at our paperwork and make sure that the VIN numbers match the vehicle that we picked up, so we're not running off with somebody else's vehicle. And from there, we're essentially done. In Tennessee, it seems as though they like to have the paperwork stamped by Customs. So there's a Customs and Border Patrol office about 10 minutes from port here in Savannah. So I will stop by there and take all my paperwork and just get it stamped just for ease of mind when registering in Tennessee. That will be the final stop before we head back to Tennessee. Looks like we might got something going on here at the port today. All right, so I'm here at the trade office for Customs and Border Patrol protection, rather. I'm gonna go in here now and try to get the paperwork signed and stamped just to show that, yes, this was imported, and check all the paperwork, the EPA, the DOT forms, along with the customs entry form. So today was a pretty good success, all things considering. Being able to hit the Georgia Credentialing Center first, straight to port, went straight to the dispatch office. They gave me a guy. He came out and checked my paperwork as I was loading the Integra up. Got out of port, went straight to the Customs and Border Trade office. They were able to stamp the documents, and by 10:30 I was headed north. Started at 0800, and everything went somewhat flawlessly, seamlessly, if you will. So I'll take that win. It's not often that Ron gets those, so I'll take that. Headed north now on 75 through Georgia. I've had this white Integra Type R just riding my tail for roughly 350 miles. This guy's got a real attitude issue, but may as well follow me all the way to the house if he's going to ride that close to my bumper. So yeah.